Hi, everybody. Craig Wessels here from Yank on the Footy, and this is kind of an unscheduled episode. I'm on the road. I'm in a hotel room in the state of Kentucky here in the United States. Got the chance to go visit my daughter for a couple of days. She had a little health issue she had to deal with and needed a parent with her. She's in college, about 10-hour drive away from home. So I took a couple of days off from work and have headed down to see her, and I'm on my way back home. I'll be back tomorrow. I have a football game to announce at our school. But when I got up this morning and checked out Code Sports, I ran across a couple of things that concerned me quite a bit. Um, and I guess maybe concerned isn't the right word, but I guess all I can say is AFL, the ball's in your court right now. It's in your court because reading a couple of articles from, I said, from Code Sports that were done by Brent Reed, and also Peter Bedell about Peter Vlandis, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name correctly there. I do not know the pronunciation of his name, but the head of the NRL is here in the United States, along with your prime minister, visiting with our president. And the NRL head was raving about being able to sit down at dinner with President Biden and discuss his goal for bringing the rugby league here to the United States over the next 10 years and growing the game here, including having a test between Australia and New Zealand here in the United States, probably at the end of next year, as well as even discussing the possibility of playing two games that would be regular season games, not exhibition games, playing two games, I believe they said in Las Vegas, probably at the same stadium that the Las Vegas Raiders play in right now. And, Andrew Dillon, I know you're new on the job. And folks, if you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, you know this is something I have talked about incessantly. How do we grow the AFL? How do we grow footy in the United States? The US AFL is doing a fine job getting people to play the game here. A lot of expats, Australian expats are here. A lot of Americans getting involved in the game. But they do, and I'm going to use some technical terms here, an absolutely piss poor job of promoting the game, the AFL, here in the United States. I've been raving about this. I've been ranting about this, if you will, for pretty much the entire existence of this podcast, going all the way back to 2019. I truly believe this is the greatest game on the planet. I truly, truly believe that. And many of you who are fans of the game believe that as well. And this is not to take anything away from rugby. I'm not really much of a rugby fan. I just don't think that there's nearly enough action in that game for me. I mean, I find myself, again, gravitating even further away from the NFL and from college football because of footy, because footy has so much more stuff going on in the game. It's so dynamic. It's so three-dimensional, and it doesn't stop. I've watched rugby a couple of times, but it's never really appealed to me. The whole idea of everybody clustering together and, the ball squirting out one side or the other. It's just not my thing, I guess. And I'm probably built significantly more like people who played rugby. And again, I'm not saying I could play rugby because I'm an old man, but I certainly couldn't play in the AFL or played that game at any kind of a decent level. But, I saw a post here. Again, this is from the Herald Sun's YouTube, not their YouTube, but their Instagram page right here. There it is right there. And Peter Vlandis saying, there's no game like rugby league. It's got everything. It's brutal. It's entertaining. It's tribal. AFL isn't here. And I think he's referring to the United States as far as it not being here. And we should be, or I should say it should be, because it's kind of like Brondo from the movie Idiocracy. It's got what Americans crave. It's got action. It's got speed. It's got high flying agility. Rugby doesn't have that. And Andrew Dillon, I know that we're not your priority here. I get it. And I would never be so bold as to say that the United States needs to be the priority of this game, because it's not our game. It is your game. But in these articles on Code Sports, and if you get a chance to read them, I strongly encourage you to read them. Mr. Vlandis is raving about how The United States could be a cash cow and generate huge amounts of revenue for the NRL. It's the same goddamn thing I've been talking about with regards to the AFL for years. Yes, we do get games broadcast here. We get games on television here, but you know what? They still do not advertise that those games are going to be on. The time, we can't fix the time. I understand that. Okay. But we could encourage people to set their DVRs. I have said for years, half an hour, 45-minute, hour-long review preview show on the Wednesday or Thursday before the games of that weekend, promoting the game, talking about what games are going to be on FS1 or FS2 or wherever they plan on having him. I do hope they stay away from ESPN, though, because every time ESPN talks about Australian rules football, people like Scott Van Pelt end up being so goddamn sanctimonious about the game. I just really want to punch right through my screen. It's one reason I don't watch ESPN anymore, because I just don't like the sanctimony coming from them, because it's not one of our games. If you don't understand it, you probably shouldn't comment on it. That's why I'm not commenting on rugby. It's just not something that really, really interests me. But what I'm really wanting to convey here is that the AFL, you need to shit or get off the pot. You have a place here in the United States where you could have vast amounts of wealth coming into this game. Again, I've said if we can get 1% of the United States interested in footy, 1% of North America, you're talking upwards of 370 million people there. Get 1%, that's 37%. That's 37 million people. Get 1% interested. That's more than the population of Australia. You get half of them buying memberships. You get half of them buying merch. You get half of them watching the games, maybe getting to watch AFL app. He's talking about having Foxtel stream one game a week here from the National Rugby League here in the United States. Now, that's where the AFL does have them ahead of the game, though. But again, they do not advertise the game. They don't tell us that it's going to be on. Now, those of us who have fallen in love with the game and it's engrossed us. It's engrossed us, okay? Yes, it's engrossed us. We are getting the Watch AFL app. We're working with afana.com who keeps track of the schedules on FS1, FS2, and on Fox Soccer Plus, which is, again, one of those networks that possibly could be going away here in the not too distant future. But AFL, you've got a golden opportunity to bring what I believe is the greatest game on the planet here. Now, I know we're at a slight disadvantage because of the ground size. I get that. We may not be able to bring the actual games here, although there was talk about bringing one to Los Angeles a couple of years ago before COVID. I believe it was going to be GWS and Essendon coming here and playing a game for premiership points. I think that needs to happen. I think there needs to be a plan to do that. And I just really, again, I'm not taking anything away from rugby. Rugby, fantastic. If you can get a toehold here, go ahead. I have nothing against rugby getting a toehold here in the United States. But what I really, really lament is the idea that we're not going to be getting footy with its toe in the door as well, or 2 toes or 3 toes or the whole damn foot. Because I truly believe it's a superior game. And those of you who listen to this podcast, I think you probably think it's a superior game as well. But like I said, I don't have anything against rugby. It's just not my thing. I have fallen in love with footy. And, I worry about it. I worry about it tremendously. Okay. So this, like I said, just a little bit of a rant on my part here. I don't have my recording equipment with me, so I'm recording on the microphone on my computer. Like I said, I've been out of town for the last 48 hours. So I didn't bring all of that stuff with me. But when I saw these stories, I felt like I could not just let it go. And the only saving grace that I take from this, and it opens up a whole nother avenue of concern that I'm not going to get into here, is that there's a distinct possibility that our president has already forgotten about the entire conversation. Just the facts. Okay. It's just the facts. I'm not going to dig any further or delve any further into who should or should not be president. That's not what this podcast is about. But I just know what I see. And I'm concerned for our country. And vicariously, then I'm concerned with our friends as well. Australia, New Zealand, lots of other places. I'm concerned about them because of my concern for our country. Again, I wish the NRL all the best. I hope they do get a toehold here. But there's enough of us to go around. And Andrew Dillon, if you want to grow the game, if you want to put more money into the coffers, if you want to be able to tell Tasmania, yeah, we're going to be able to help cover some of the costs of getting that stadium built for your new club that's coming in. Hey, let's start making bids for the 20th club because we've got all this cash coming in now. So we have a more of a balanced league. I think you need to get going and promoting the game here and actually selling it here. Don't just put the things on television and say, guess what? The games are on and we're going to have to figure it out on our own. Tell the people who have not fallen in love with the game about the game. The game sells itself. That's all I got for you. It's 10 o'clock at night here. I need to get some sleep. It's been a long day. Hopefully you'll check out my website, ayankonthefooty.com. Get over my YouTube channel and subscribe over there as well. I do have 3 new episodes that are recorded in the can. I had to postpone an episode, an interview that I was doing with Dr. Tim Outthread, who was going to recap the Bulldogs off season and what went wrong during 2023. Dr. Tim, I'm going to get that rescheduled with you here very, very soon. Looking forward to that. And also, if you have a story to tell about your most memorable game, I would love to share that. So please reach out by email at ayankonthefooty@gmail.com, at yank_1 on Twitter, or Yank on the Footy podcast over on Facebook. Leave me a note over on my YouTube channel. All right. I would like to hear from you. That'd be absolutely awesome, folks. Cheers.